Hey, Foot Clan, wanted to let you know about our newest giveaway. We're giving away a signed Keenan Allen jersey.
Oh, it's the powder blue. It's so good.
Signed DeAndre Hopkins mini helmet. And a signed Stephon Diggs jersey.
Woo!
That sounded like an elephant.
That is how impressive that giveaway is. And you can enter absolutely free. We give away stuff every month. Go to footclangiveaway.com for a chance to win any of those 3 pieces of fine autographed sports memorabilia.
Welcome to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast, coming to you from Draft.com Studios with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Welcome back. The elephant in the room.
Is Mike Wright.
That's somewhere between an elephant and like a zany clown toy or something like that.
Yeah.
I'll have to listen back.
Mike, welcome back.
Hey, it's good to be back, America.
What were you gone, like 6-8 weeks, something like that?
Yeah, it certainly
Too
felt
long.
like that.
Too long.
We replaced a bear with an elephant.
Yeah. Well, you went to Big Bear Lake.
I technically went to Lake Arrowhead, but it's very close to Big Bear Lake.
Okay. Because we figured you and Jay Grizz actually traded, like, habitat.
I did. I took care of the baby Grizz
Okay.
cubs.
Very nice.
They're very cute, very cuddly.
Did you try to swim upstream and... Well, I guess that would
eat
make
any
you
salmon?
that would make you the salmon. That would not make you the bear.
No, we were the catchers. We are the predators.
To
Did
eat
you-
the salmon, you must become the salmon.
Did you have a good time?
Great time. It's always a great time with the family. I appreciate the Foot Clan supporting me while I'm on the road.
Well, you see, we had to hold it down. We had 3 episodes last
I
week.
know.
The July season is here.
I heard that we have 3 episodes again this week.
Yeah, Mike's in on these.
Yeah.
For
I
once.
am.
You can follow us on Twitter at the
Maybe.
FF Ballers. We have some exciting news to share with you. We have bounce back players on the show today. So players that each of us believes have a chance to bounce back in 2018 from disappointing 2017 seasons. Some players can do it. Others cannot. A la Des Bryant last year didn't pan out.
No.
Adrian Peterson, not exactly a bounce back.
I would say that guys like Todd Gurley and DeAndre Hopkins sure bounced back very well
Cam
last year
Newton?
from a down
They
year.
absorbed the flubber spray very, very well, so they were very bouncy.
It's I can see you're back in true form, Mike.
Are you telling me you don't know flubber?
I know
barely
flubber. I
remember
don't make
flubber.
I
Robin
don't
Williams?
make flubber references.
Right.
Yeah. As
well,
often.
That's what I'm here to do.
Flubber.
Flubber is great. Oh, it's fantastic.
Does that mean that they're coming back down now?
Well, they are, but then they just bounce right back up.
All right.
It's
It's the
nonstop.
Doug Martin career.
No, don't ever bring up Doug Martin.
Yeah, he was one that did not bounce back.
No.
I believe he was the pick for a bounce back player last year by one of us.
Yeah, I'm not going to point any fingers.
We have a great quick question on the show today, and I mentioned the Foot Clan giveaway. We're giving away a signed Keenan Allen jersey, signed Stephon Diggs jersey, a signed DeAndre Hopkins mini helmet at footclangiveaway.com. You can enter for free at footclangiveaway.com. So, before we get into the quick questions, which I think is a great one, talking about rookie running backs, I want to mention 2 things. Number 1, if you want to simulate a draft, like with a draft, practice, and then get a grade from us, you can do that for free at draft.thefantasyfootballers.com. It's easy. You can practice drafting, and then you will get a letter grade from us
And a face.
and a corresponding face of approval or disappointment.
Let you know we mean business.
Yeah.
So
if
do
you're
that and
used
share it with us.
Yeah, if you're used to in years past going to fantasydraftwizard.com, that is the same place, same location.
Draft.thefantasyfootballers.com for that. And then the big news, which, I mean, Jason did enough tooting of his own. I think his Twitter profile has been updated. But
Did you go right in the bio?
He
Oh,
did,
you
right in
darn
the
right I
bio.
did.
So I'll say this because we mentioned it on the Footcast this past week, but now that it's official and the article's out there, The results for draft accuracy from Fantasy Pros came in over the last couple of days, and you can see it at fantasypros.com. They have an article that came out ranking 130 experts on draft accuracy. And we were fortunate enough to have 2 experts in the top 10, including Jason finishing at number 3. We're the only site with we had 2 in season inside the top 14.
Yep.
2 draft season inside the top 10, and
Andy,
yes.
What has happened? Why is the voice of public opinion?
And let it happen.
I thought that you guys were just funny and entertaining, but maybe you didn't dig super deep on all the fantasy stuff.
So we try to stay on.
This is some fart sniffing going on right now.
We try to stay.
You call me the fart sniffer, I will sniff these farts.
We try to stay humble here. However, it is validating.
Smells like popcorn.
Jason is taking a whiff of his ranking right now. The thing is we do from time to time, whether it be on Reddit or on Twitter or something, we get grief for being, we're a goofy show, right? We're 3 dads. This is a dadly fantasy football podcast. We try to have fun, but we try to win you your league. And I know a lot of you out there, obviously, you've stuck by us year after year, and you've won your leagues. So it's
you're preaching to the choir right now. The people listening to the show, they know.
We're just giving them the
all I'm saying is I'm doing a roundabout way of not directly complimenting Jason. I want to compliment the show. But Jason, nice job.
Thank you.
Nice.
And Mike.
Yes.
Mike
well, thank you. Yeah, but
you, all 3 of us were.
Yeah.
I mean, your rankings were great. Top quarter of all experts for all 3 of us. 2 in the top 10.
But it speaks to the Ultimate Draft Kit, and you can expect to get quality, accurate information from that. And we're very excited about that because it's validating to the analysis and the work we do. And we're proud of that, and so that's the announcement I have. Here's the quick question of the day. All right? This one came in, I think we touched on it on the Footcast. I love this question. Regardless of the current opportunity, which rookie running back profiles as a true 3-down back in the event that an opportunity arises? So obviously a lot of rookies came into situations where there is an incumbent or there is an existing platoon of running backs. But somebody like Kareem Hunt last year lost Ware, right, ahead of him, Spencer Ware, and then he profiled as a 3-down back, came in and carried the ball a ridiculous amount of times. So what running backs do you see as profiling in that fashion?
Yeah, I care about this a lot when I scout them. So I've got my rookies broken into basically 3 tiers of whether or not they are a true 3-down, meaning they're a great pass catcher, or they're not. To me, and I know we'll argue about this in a little bit as to one of my not a 3-down back, but I have Saquon obviously as a 3-down back. Kerryon Johnson, Royce Freeman, and John Kelly are 3 guys to me that profile, regardless of their situation in the NFL, that they have the skill set to be well-rounded, a 3-down back, be a good pass catcher. I believe that Sony Michel and Rashad Penny, I believe that they very well might. We saw enough glimmers in college to say, I believe they can. Like, I actually believe they can. I'm sure about the other guys.
The draft equity on those 2 guys. So it's funny that
Penny is firmly in the
maybe.
Penny's firmly in the yes category for me.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, no. When I say I'm just saying I'm speaking of the film that I saw in college. Yeah. You add to that their first-round draft capital, and I think they will be utilized as a 3-down back. And then to me, Ronald Jones and Nick Chubb, they were not at all pass catchers in college. And here's the big one. Darius Geis, I do not believe profiles as a 3-down back from any of his college production.
I mean, he didn't catch the ball a lot, but he did. I think he caught 18 passes last year, which was more than 2 of Todd Gurley's 3 seasons in college. So Gurley didn't profile that way either. It's a matter of whether you trust and believe in the player, and that's fine. I think Ronald Jones to me is a maybe. He's not a no. And Darius Geis, I think, profiles as a full 3-down back in the way they want to utilize him. Geis would be the one that I've been rising on and targeting in more and more leagues. Mike, how do you weigh in on these guys? Do you view them in the same category?
Yeah, we're nearly aligned on these guys. The one I just wanted to highlight here, I wanted to talk about, the 2 guys that if the situation arises, I think they will excel the most. And that would be, number 1 would be Kerryon Johnson. I think that he is the set up in as the most well-rounded and Detroit throws to the running back all the time. At least they previously had. I know it's a new regime, but
not really.
But
the same offensive coordinator.
Yeah, but you have some moving pieces in the management level.
But yeah, Riddick has done that for years.
But Carrion could take that role, and Royce Freeman is a all-around back. He's not as talented, in my opinion, in the passing game as Carrion could be, but he can do everything that you need him to do.
Okay. Well, I think we all agree that Nick Chubb is not.
Yes.
Doesn't profile that way.
He certainly doesn't profile that way, but I don't have him as a no. The only guy that, to me, is a no would be Ronald Jones.
All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about in that department, or are we moving on to bounce backs?
Moving on.
Hello, everybody. I am back.
It's always enjoyable to circle around to these episodes.
That is a classic,
Yeah.
vintage fantasy footballers drop.
Yeah, and you're back today. So a little double meaning.
Bounce back fantasy player of the year.
Did you Instagram that video that you
I think Brooks took care of it, yeah.
Brooks, did you Instagram it?
The people are seeing it.
And tweeted it.
Very troubling video. Very disturbing.
It's very upsetting.
Very enjoyable, too. So bounce back players, we've each selected two guys that disappointed a little bit last year for one reason or another that we believe are going to bounce back in 2018. And I'm going to kick it over to Mike.
Oh, I'm back, so I will go first.
Yeah. Get it over with.
The player I want to bring. Well, I'm saving that one. Because I got to go out with a bang. But the first player I want to talk about is Amari Cooper. Oh. And the thing about Amari Cooper is you got a compliment sandwich, right? And by compliment sandwich, I actually mean that I'm starting with the bad things because yes, nearly half of his yards.
With the compliments in the middle,
yes.
And it's just bad on bad.
yeah.
So it's rye bread. I know you don't like rye bread.
Rye bread is. How do people eat rye bread? It's terrible. But nearly half of his yards came in 2 games. Yes, that's true. Yes, he had the lowest charted contested catch rate by Matt Harmon's reception perception of all time this past season. But I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. He was coming off of 2 straight 1,000-plus yard seasons. Derek Carr firmly says that Amari Cooper was very injured and he was just gutting through it. Michael Crabtree is gone. That's 100-plus targets vacated. More importantly, 14 red zone targets and 11 10-zone targets. On top of that, we have the history of John Gruden, new coach. His past 2 years, he did have 1,000-plus yard wide receiver Antonio Bryant, Joey Galloway. And this is my word of warning for Amari Cooper. I love that Joey Galloway is back in the conversation because of John
Gruden.
I don't want to go Julio Jones, Amari Cooper. Right. I don't want to start my draft that way because it won't shock me.
You'll win every 4th week by 10,000 points.
Exactly. If Amari Cooper has a huge amount of his yards in 4 games yet again, it will not surprise me. But with the opportunity and the talent, it would shock me at this point if Amari Cooper does not end up as a wide receiver 1.
No, I really like the pick. I do believe, especially for where he's fallen in drafts, he's going to have a bounce back year. I mean, he's just going to have so much opportunity, and he can't possibly be as bad as he was last year.
If he doesn't,
people will not say anything. They'll say this is next year is Amari Cooper's year. No,
it's over.
Why, he's got 2,000-yard seasons already.
It doesn't matter.
So next year he'll be only 25 years old.
Yes.
All right, you want me to go or you, Jay?
I'll kick in here.
And Andy, give your Amari Cooper take. Do you have him? Is it you won't be surprised if he's a wide receiver 1, or you are expecting he will be a wide receiver 1?
The first one.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like everything is lined up for him. He was a productive college player. He's a productive NFL player. He's had it rough. I mean, you wonder what's between the ears when it comes to the drops and the contested catches and the confidence of the offensive pieces to kind of give him the ball when the game's on the line or when they're in the red zone. Like, I know he can catch the ball on a slant route at their own 20 and run it a long ways. It's just a matter of this is the year he has to put it together for me to buy into him as being a great talent. And
do you think
we'll see? I mean, he's lowest on my ranks than anybody because I can see things turning against him if he doesn't perform.
Okay.
I mean, they obviously invested in Jordy Nelson. Whether we believe Jordy's too old to produce, they felt like he was a better investment than Michael Crabtree. They bring Jordy in. They brought in Martavis Bryant via trade. I know this has got to be the year for him.
Yeah.
Fair.
All right. My bounce back candidate is a guy that I've talked about a little bit this offseason. I'm much higher on than you two, and I believe that he will absolutely bounce back. It is Marcus Mariota. Look, Mariota.
Don't they have a bounce back, right?
He was 2 years ago. He was the quarterback 13.
Sweet. Quarterback 2. All right.
I'm just okay. He was one spot off of the quarterback 1. He was highly
No. He
drafted.
was 12 spots out of the quarterback 1.
He was.
If you lose a game by 1 point, you have still lost the game.
Would you say that he was
So
highly
he's
drafted?
almost startable. A couple.
That he
you
was
think he can
highly
get back to
drafted
almost startable
last year? Do you think he was highly drafted last year with big expectations that
Sure.
did not come true?
No,
and he
I-
had a down year. I'm saying that those expectations were what maybe instead of bounce back, you can call this a post-hype sleeper.
Well, I just reread the Evan Silva Tennessee Titans preview from last year, and it reminded me how much hype there was around Mariota and the opportunity that they had. There was a lot.
Yeah.
There was hope that he might actually be in the top 13.
Well, put it this way. He was in the top 12 after 3 weeks last year, got off to a great start, and then in week 4, that's where he pulled up with the hammy. Left
Didn't he
the
break
game.
his leg
Yeah.
the year that
2
he
years
finished
ago.
QB 13? To Jason's point,
Right. There was
he
only
would have
15
been inside the
games.
12.
Yes,
so.
he would have been a quarterback 1. He was a quarterback 1 for those first 3 weeks. Then he pulls his hammy, misses week 5 and half of week 4. But during that time, before he pulled the hammy, he was on pace, a rushing pace for
I just
400.
like hearing him say his hammy.
For
It's
400,
not a hamstring; it's a hammy.
Well, yeah, it's more delicious that way.
Are there moons over your hammy?
You darn right there. The first 4 weeks before he got injured, he was on a rushing pace of 464 yards. He had 3 touchdowns on the ground during that time. The rest of the season, he only had 196 yards, which would be a 285 16-game pace. So you could tell that. I like when there's not just after the year you go, a guy was injured, and we're not sure, was he or was he not? But there is evidence here of exactly what happened. He wore a knee brace most of last season. That has been shed. The reports out of camp are that he's looking fast, and more importantly, they got rid of the bad, slow offense. Marcus Mariota is a guy that I think 453 is his highest passing attempts in his career. Middle of the pack, Russell Wilson was like 100 more than that last season. So if his passing attempts go up, his rushing is able to be a big part of his game going forward. I think he's a quarterback 1 this next season, and he's being drafted very, very, very late.
I feel like you're digging in on Mariota a lot lately.
Well, that's because I've been bringing his name up a lot lately because I believe in it.
I know you do. There's just a lot of ifs there.
Aren't you
Right?
the Corey Davis truther?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe in Corey Davis.
Who's getting that guy the ball?
Yeah, Marcus Mariota is.
It's nice to have a good weapon.
Okay.
All right.
I'm bringing T.Y. Hilton back.
I think
into the
Andrew
fold.
Luck is bringing T.Y. Hilton back.
Last year was rough for T.Y. Hilton because he had a couple of monster games and then he was pretty much unstartable. But the 4 years prior to last season, he finished 19th, 11th, 21st, and 5th, including leading the league in receiving yards. And if you look at the metrics from last season, even though he struggled to find consistency due to bad quarterback play, look, the metrics were there. He was still, 25% of his catches were 20-plus yards. He was the same T.Y. Hilton. Offseason reports are solid. He's 27 years old. That's wide receiver prime. And I think he can bounce back to that. I have him at 11. So I think he's a wide receiver 1 again in 2018. And, yeah, it's dependent on Andrew Luck
so you
to
are
a significant degree.
But even you're bought into Andrew Luck being back.
Even if Luck isn't back, I still think T.Y. Hilton is a top 20 guy. He finished 25th last year with no Andrew Luck, and he'll have a better rapport with whoever is behind Luck.
It'll be Jacoby.
I mean, with Jacoby, yeah. And so I think he's a top 20 guy no matter what. And then I think he's a top 12 guy with Andrew Luck as the bounce-back candidate for next year. So I have a lot of confidence in T.Y. Hilton.
All right.
It's T.Y. Hilton, everything is on Andrew Luck for me. I would disagree. If Jacoby Brissett is the quarterback, and I mean
look at Devontae Adams last year.
Right?
He had no Aaron Rodgers, and the talent overwhelmed the situation, and he had worse quarterback play than Jacoby.
Certainly, they're very different wide receivers, and I mean we have a season of T.Y. Hilton playing without Andrew Luck, and it's
not good.
Like you said about his yardage, 62%.
Still almost a wide receiver too overall, but yeah,
but
it's not
62% of his yards in 1/4
Yes.
of his games. I mean, that's you can't bank.
No, he
any
won.
kind of
He won
fantasy
your
on
week
that.
for you
Yeah.
if you started him by pure luck.
It's like Drew Brees last year, where he finished
Right.
as a quarterback 1, but he killed you almost every single week.
Before I jump into my next bounce back candidate, want to thank today's sponsor, SeatGeek. Buying tickets to sports and concerts can be complicated and confusing. There is a better way. Use SeatGeek. It's the smartest, easiest way to get tickets to every type of live event. There is nothing like going to a live event, going to see live music, your sports team. Everything is better live. And all three of us have the SeatGeek app. All three of us have used it. It's very, very intuitive. It's very easy. You just download the SeatGeek app, and with a few taps, you can instantly find tickets. They're making the experience easier than ever, and they save you time and money because they do the shopping for you. Then they use these super easy color-coded charts. You can find out if you're getting a good value on a ticket. Green means go. Am I right? We learned that when we're 3 years old driving around.
I
with our
believe that is
parents.
correct.
And SeatGeek does the same thing. Green means go. So Foot Clan, this is what I need you to do. If you want to get $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase, just download the SeatGeek app. You enter the promo code Footballers today. That's promo code Footballers for $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase.
Also, want to remind you to head over to ultimatedraftkit.com to get your 2018 Ultimate Draft Kit. This is everything you need to dominate your 2018 draft. We talked about the accuracy of the UDK. It's been validated by those numbers that we brought up earlier. And then you get all of the intangibles. You get 100-plus player profile videos to evaluate individual players, which are updated, right? This thing is updated all off-season. We get messages all the time. They're like, okay, when you update your rankings, are the cheat sheets updated? Yes, instantly. Everything's updated the second something breaks, and we're always in there tweaking, adjusting rankings. Somebody gets suspended. Something changes in the depth chart. This isn't an old stale magazine that you get at the grocery store. This is an up-to-date, jam-packed, ever-evolving, ever-changing. You get access all off-season, and you can get it right now at ultimatedraftkit.com. This is our pride and joy. You're going to absolutely love it, and it's going to help you dominate and set the stage for a dominating 2018 season. Check it out at ultimatedraftkit.com. Mike, I believe you're bringing some hot fire now.
All right. I got to talk you into somebody.
Yes, you do.
Not just
I'm
these,
listening.
Not these just two compadres here, but the Foot
Now,
Clan.
you're not normally a rule follower, Mike, but it seems like in this case,
Well, there's an important rule that it fell apart this past season, but 2015, this player was the tight end 2 in 14 games. In 2016, this player was the tight end 9 in only 12 games. 2017, everything fell apart. And I'm, of course, talking about Jordan Reed, starting tight end for Washington. I was looking over at ffstatistics.com, and they break things down for in a simple way. And you can see that the new quarterback, Alex Smith, since 2007, Alex Smith has supported a tight end 1 in every single one of his seasons except for once.
I'm assuming that would be Vernon Davis and Travis Kelce.
That is correct. Alex Smith has supported a top 2 tight end 4 times.
That's pretty impressive.
Jordan Reed is still being paid to play. He will be the 6th highest paid tight end in football.
I believe he's only 27, isn't he?
I don't have his age
He's
right in
not
front of me.
very old. I know
In
when you
human
look
years.
at it, in
Yes.
human years.
His body
Ligament years is different.
His body is in very bad condition. He's coming off of another off-season surgery, fixing up his toes. He has concussion issues. But you don't have to pay full price for Jordan Reed.
Fixing up his toes.
he's
Gotta fix up them toes.
You know, like a lot of the guys have to
Gotta
do.
fix them up.
Look,
So-
if you've ever ran with bad toes,
You need 'em.
It sucks. But Jordan Reed, right now, I'm checking out his ADP.
This little piggy went to the market.
He is going at the back of the 8th round. And as much as I love Trey Burton, as much as we all love Trey Boo Boo, and we're
You would
projecting
draft
for
Reed over Burton?
I don't know if I would, but here's the thing.
You're on the clock. You've got one spot left. It's a tight end, and there's only 2 available.
All right, I would take Trey Burton.
Okay.
But Trey Burton is an unproven full-length season player. Delaney Walker
Great toes, though.
Those Burton toes, they are legendary in the Burton
they're like
household.
bear claws.
Delaney Walker, Jason, close your ears. Kyle Rudolph. These are guys all going ahead of Jordan Reed. And like I said, maybe you don't get a full 16 games from Jordan Reed. You're aware of this. You know that you can grab someone off the waiver wire, but tight end 2, 14 games.
I would take
tight end
Jordan
9,
Reed.
12 games.
I would take Jordan Reed ahead of Kyle Rudolph.
Oh, come on.
I want a chance.
Let's water bet that.
Here's what I want. I don't want a chance at the tight ends 8 or 9. Or I don't want the guaranteed tight end 8 or 9. Maybe I'll give Rudolph the credit for that. I want a chance at what you brought up with Jordan Reed. Smith has supported a top 2 tight end 4 times. I want a chance at a top 2 tight end.
Yeah, I will say this. The Alex
Reed
Smith
is
numbers,
a chance of that.
The Alex Smith numbers are very telling, and it actually gives me a lot of confidence in Vernon Davis. I think that he'll have a great season because he supports tight ends, and he'll be the
it's
starting
not
tight
terrible.
end in short order.
Look.
Now
there
that's
you go.
funny right there.
There you
Just
go.
draft Jordan Reed and Vernon Davis, and you'll have. That's actually not. That's one situation where.
Here's what'll happen. Reed will stay healthy the whole year. Davis will somehow outperform him.
Yeah.
Jordan Reed,
Like an old flame.
2018, we're bringing Rule 86
Oh,
back.
goodness. Are you?
We're bringing it back. Jordan Reed,
You got to dust off that T-shirt.
he's playing at least 12 games.
Ooh, that's a
That's-
hot take.
it is a
Spicy.
hot
At
take.
least 12 games?
Yeah.
You realize
Is
that's
he-
3/4 of the season, Mike.
Can I ask a question? Is he healthy right now?
I don't believe so.
That is correct. Okay, so my next bounce.
It's his toes.
Well, he still needs those
His
to play
hooves.
football.
My hooves.
Clippity clop.
Can he play in roller skates? Is that permissible?
It's only if you
Like
can
a
get the
Ill-advised.
if you remember the cartoon All Stars, I think that's what it called, where Wayne Gretzky had
Yeah.
the shoes and he could push the button and the
Yeah.
and the rollerblades popped out.
Yeah.
Those are permissible.
I loved that show.
It was a great show.
All 2 episodes.
Okay, my next bounce back candidate is a guy that I genuinely believe will have a great season.
I like
I've-
this pick.
I've said this for years that he very well might be my favorite player to watch. I just love how he runs routes, fights for the ball. He's got a heart for football, and that's Emmanuel Sanders. He has spent the last 3 seasons before last season as a wide receiver 2 or better. And then last season, he was the wide receiver 61. This was a combination.
61.
Yeah. This was a combination of both injury and horrific quarterback play. I am on record as a Case Keenum believer. I don't sit here and say that Case Keenum's a top 10 quarterback, but I believe he is a good quarterback. He is, in that over the last few years, you think back 3 years ago and there was a lot of conversation as to whether Kirk Cousins was a real quarterback or whether he had a good year. That's kind of the type of quarterback that I see in Case Keenum. Case Keenum coming in, a healthy season. I think both Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders take a step forward, but Emmanuel Sanders was, Demaryius Thomas disappointed, but he was still a serviceable fantasy asset. Emmanuel Sanders was irrelevant last season. He's going to be a late round value to me, where a guy that in those middle to late rounds I can get a guy that I believe will be a wide receiver 2 on the season, as opposed to having to shoot for the moon and take, your 5% chance on a player that he could be a wide receiver 1. I'm just going to take the tried and true. He's 30 years old, which is not the age that wide receivers fall off. So I believe he bounces back. There's a lot of
Mike, you're a
good
pretty
vibes.
big Emmanuel Sanders fan.
Yeah, I love Sanders. And I'm with Jason, and he was in consideration for me on the bounce back, but I had to proclamate my love for Jordan Reed yet again. And I'm looking at the average draft position. That's where it's interesting for Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders. In recent years, it's been, I'll take the discount. I'll take Sanders because he's going a round or two after Demaryius Thomas. I mean, it's a big split right now.
Where are they going?
So Sanders is going at the 710, and Demaryius Thomas is going at the 407.
Yeah,
which that's great value on both of them, honestly. But to get Sanders in the 7th round, I'm with Jason. I think he's a wide receiver too.
He is currently my wide receiver 22 according to my rankings.
That is aggressive.
And it's a low end 2, which is what he's been the last. Every year except for this past season, and I think he bounces back to that. Right now he's being drafted as the wide receiver 34.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a pretty bold take.
Right.
I think it's fine. I don't disagree with it. I think competency at the quarterback position is kind of important. All right, my final bounce back candidate, it's Greg Olsen. Greg Olsen is 33 years old. There were rumors about him stepping into the booth and walking away from football. And I know Jason's brought up his fears of the foot injury recurring, but you know what gives me confidence in any player recovering to play a full season? It would be 9 consecutive years of playing a full season, 144 straight games. He was an Iron Man, and I believe that he's healthy and he's going to play. And
Jason
he's going
Witten
to play
thinks it's cute what he did.
Yeah, Jason Witten thinks it's cute what Olsen did. Look, his 2016 line was standard Greg Olsen, 80 receptions, 1,073 yards, 3 touchdowns. Last year he was 17 for 191 and 1 due to the foot injury. He's already got the rapport with Cam Newton, who's my favorite fantasy quarterback based on average draft position and opportunity. His finishes, Greg Olsen was 6, 7, 4, 5, 3 before the injury, and I don't really see any way that he is not a top 7 tight end if he stays healthy. And so I think the odds are that he stays healthy. I'm not going to bet he gets hurt, and therefore I think he is a great bounce-back candidate. Greg Olsen is as reliable as they get, and I think we've got more time with Greg Olsen before we have to have him hang him up.
I will say he was pretty disappointing to start the year.
He had a if you want to look at his targets per game, I believe they were down a little bit to start the year.
Well, week 1 he was 2 for 18. Week 2 was 1 for 10. Of course, that was when he hurt his foot. I know he had the 2 monster games.
That's a couple games, yeah.
Right. He had the 2 monster games of the playoff game over 100 yards with a touchdown, the game against Green Bay over 100 with a touchdown. And I do agree with Andy that Greg Olsen is going to bounce back, but there is a slight amount of pause for me when you're taking Greg Olsen because you got to grab him
he's right now the
6th round.
He's the 5th tight end off the board.
Yeah, he is. He's not him or Hilton aren't really values, but
Right.
I wasn't factoring that into the bounce back aspect.
Yeah,
it
and
was
you don't
more,
need to.
It's more whether they performed to where they're being drafted, and I think both of them will. Didn't he just sign a contract extension as well?
He did.
I mean, he's 33, but he just signed, I believe, a 2-year, $17 million contract, and so they look at him as a staple of the offense. And while I like DJ Moore, he is of no threat to me to what Greg Olsen provides to that offense. So I like him. If I can snag him, I think I'm going to be happy. I think I'm going to get great performances when he scores that touchdown, but otherwise he's going to be pretty good in PPR formats.
Right.
Anything else?
Nope.
All right, let's answer some questions.
Mailbag.
So much better than me, Mike.
Did you hear Jason's?
I heard a mailbag. Something like that.
Hey guys,
It wasn't good.
I told him, like, you didn't hear him do it on the Footcast.
No, I did not.
But in the Footcast, it was the first half was great, and the second half he was afraid. Like, he lost confidence. And it would have finished great. Like, he did it. And so I wanted him to see it. I was like, just be confident. And
I went for it.
He just started in like a mailbag. Hey, everybody. All right, we're glad you're back, Mike. We're glad. Someone said that you have no greater job security than listening to the mailbag drop when we're gone.
At least I can do that. Maybe I'll be kicked off the show and I'll just pop in for the mailbag.
Well, putting yourself out there with Jordan Reed is a risky business, Mike. He's the kind of candidate you back silently in the shadows. He's not the kind that you come out.
I've got to expose it to the world.
Oh, okay. Well, you can. He's all yours. If you have a question for the podcast, go to thefantasyfootballers.com. Click the Submit a Question button or dial our voicemail hotline 302-464-TFFB. We learned last week that I'm the only one that knows that number, as I gave Jason the opportunity to say it a couple of times, and he was unsuccessful. Let's jump into a voicemail question.
Hey there, ballers. Adrian from Tulsa. Full point PPR, quarter point per carry. And I'm flirting with the idea of 3 straight running backs. Can you help me out here? Thank you.
Yeah, my answer to that question is that, sure, if that's the best player on the board, I don't have a problem with you ending up with 3 straight running backs. I generally have a problem with you deciding before the draft that you're going to have 3 straight running backs, because that will possibly eliminate great value on your roster if you lock yourself in beforehand. You can keep that in there as I'm going to be happy with it if they're the best 3 players on the board. That's how I'd look at it.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's good to at least get the thought process going and working out just some mental exercises of what your team would look like. I mean, hopefully you have a top 5 pick, because those top 5 running backs, Gurley, Lev, and David Johnson, who are going to see the 100 targets or whatever, and then get the 200 plus carries. It's a nice security blanket for your team.
Yeah, if you're not that high, maybe even a Fournette jumps up a little bit because he's going to have so many carries. The quarter point per carry would be fine. Yeah, I completely agree with Andy's take on that. Yeah, I mean, if a great third running back drops,
but
go
here's
ahead and
the
take
thing.
him. But
it quarter point per carry, but he said it's a full point PPR. Right. So if you're in the second round, I'm not valuing Fournette over someone.
Jerick McKinnon's going to be good in that league format.
Yes, he will. But I'm saying against a wide receiver in the second round, if you're looking at, okay, well, I got Howard and Fournette, they're going to carry the ball a ton, I'm still going to draft someone like Keenan Allen over those players.
Sure, that makes sense. Andy in Philadelphia says, hey, footballers, love the show and your insights. One thing you don't really talk about are 2 tight end league formats. What is the strategy for drafting in those leagues? Thank you.
Well, yeah, we don't talk about 2 tight end league formats very often because they're much more rare. Usually it's just tight ends can flex in which case it's still a 1 tight end league. If you have to play 2 tight ends, there's a clear advantage to getting you basically have to have one of the tried and true guys. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying you need to have a Gronk, Ertz, Kelsey. That would be helpful depending on where you're at in your draft. But you need to make sure that your first tight end isn't a complete question mark past the Trey Burton tier. And then if you can have one to plug a spot and then just completely stream the other position. And you can also value some of the higher, really low-end tight end guys that are being drafted who have the potential. Mike's brought up Vance McDonald. I like Ricky Seals-Jones, Austin Seferian-Jenkins, even David Njoku. Those are guys that you can get really late who have a chance to be an every week starter.
All right, let's move on to another voicemail.
Hey, guys, it's Nick from New York, but Skull Vikings. Question about drafting multiple players from the same team. You've mentioned it before, not to stress too much about it, but I did a mock earlier in the week that was, when I looked at the end, Kirk Cousins, Kyle Rudolph, Dalvin Cook, and Adam Thielen. Ooh. And to me, it seems like too many guys from the same team. Want to know your thoughts if you think it's problematic. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Well, the rare 4-pack.
The easy fix there is obviously don't draft Kyle Rudolph.
Oh, if you think that the Minnesota Vikings are going to score like the Peyton Manning Denver Broncos, then go for it.
That was the
but they are
Demarius
not.
Sanders, Julius Thomas.
No Sean Moreno.
Yeah.
Yes.
The problem is the real issue of ever having those situations, even when they're good ones. Let's say you don't have Rudolph, which I think we'd all drop out of that group if we had to pick one.
Yep.
Even if you don't have Rudolph, one guy can score on that drive, right?
Yep.
I mean, I guess if you have Cousins, he can throw it to your player, and then you get two. But you limit some of the upside, and if the team has a down week, you have trouble. There are teams that can sustain it, no doubt about it, but 4 would be too much for me.
Yeah, I
Completely
agree. Minnesota's defense is too good to allow all 4 of those guys to go off in a game.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's go over here to Daniel in Charleston, South Carolina. At what running back carry percentage do you start considering it a running back committee? So example, is it when running back A has 60% and B has 30% and C has 10%? Are you hesitant on RBA because this is an RBBC? Wow, letters. Or is the percentage not high enough? So how do you look at that? See, to me, it's actually more about the carry count that the second player gets.
Sure.
Right, I agree with that.
And I'll say, if you have the Ultimate Draft Kit, go check out the market share report, and you can actually see what kind of carry percentage were these guys getting, and you might be surprised that the numbers are not as high as you think they will be. For example, I'll just pick a name, Devonta Freeman. And now I know he missed a couple games, but he had the 20th highest percentage of carries from the running back position of his team. He was at 51%. I mean, it would be great to have that Le'Veon Bell 80%. That's just not the norm. But if you're getting a guy who's in that 60% range, that's great.
Yeah, that's near workhorse. If you're at 60%, absolutely. And one thing I would say is that I don't just look at carry counts alone, because, as I brought up earlier, like Chris Thompson, he's not going to get a bunch of carry counts. But when you've got a guy that is the clear takeover, the pass catching roles, that then is an RBBC as well.
Yeah, and a target is more valuable than a carry.
Yes.
Caleb in Missouri, Tevin Coleman, Adam Thielen, and the 210. So that's one option.
Okay.
So having Coleman, Thielen, 210. Or Tyrell Williams, Leonard Fournette. So this is a dynasty trade. What side do you want? Tyrell Williams and Leonard Fournette, or Coleman, Thielen, and the 210?
Coleman, Thielen, 210.
Yeah, I would agree.
I think Adam Thielen is very, very close to an elite fantasy wide receiver, and we love.
He's not necessarily a long-term dynasty
He's
stud,
got,
though, is he?
He's got at least a few years. I mean, what's the shelf life of Leonard Fournette?
That's true.
3 or 4 more years. I mean, he could be an Emmitt Smith.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Thielen's only 27,
and it's so much easier to replace a running back in rookie drafts than it is to find a high-level wide receiver. So and Coleman next year you have that wild card of the free agent. Maybe he gets a great job.
Maybe he goes and McKinnon's.
Yeah, maybe he takes McKinnon's job next year.
No thanks. Being the Jerick McKinnon dynasty owner, no thank you. I'll pass.
That contract is very front-loaded so that they can move on if he stinks.
Yeah,
this
hopefully
year.
his statistical output
I don't think he will.
Is front-loaded as well, so he can keep the job. Scott in Tucson, Arizona. In a keeper league, do I keep David Johnson in the first round or Michael Thomas in the 8th round?
Oh, my.
Michael Thomas.
Yeah, it's Michael Thomas for me.
It is for me as well.
If it's standard, is it still Michael Thomas?
Either way.
Here's how you answer the question. Do you want imagine who you would draft in the first round, and then add Michael Thomas to him and decide whether you want that more than David Johnson.
It's Michael Thomas. That value is too good.
Maybe you get Devonta Freeman in the first round.
If you said
Michael Thomas with him.
If you said, okay, is DJ in the first or Michael Thomas in the 4th, do you guys still go Michael Thomas?
No. I think
I just wanted to see where
the
the value breaks.
Yeah, I mean, in the 4th round, you're still getting quality players. Right. In the 8th round, you're starting to throw. You can't grab anything near a Michael Thomas.
Right.
Even a Michael Thomas. I mean, it's nice because you can say Michael Thomas, or you could sing David Johnson's name. So you have the option.
Either
in
way,
both
you're
situations.
set.
All right, let's go one more here. Mark in Dallas. Since we're going to be in Dallas on Thursday.
Mark,
and
you better be there.
We'll be at the live show on Friday.
In fact, if you are listening and you are in Dallas right now, you better be there.
Yeah.
BallersLive.com.
And bring me some Torchy's tacos.
You're a very demanding
Please.
person.
Us.
Yeah. All right. Mark wants to know, is yours the best job in the world? Pretty sure half of the Foot Clan ponders this on a daily basis while we all toil away in corporate America. So,
Well,
is it the best job in the world?
I can't complain.
I hate
Tough
to break it to you.
sugarcoat this.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I love our job. We
Now, Brooks, on the other hand, Brooks, how are you handling things over
yeah.
I'm doing all right.
there? Yeah.
Getting by.
No, it's great. It's great.
Yeah,
Thank you,
we're
Mark.
very, very thankful. You know, we put our families first, which is something that you can't always do.
Yeah, I guess you'd say we have the opportunity to do that since we crafted this
Right.
from the start. And so very fortunate to get to do it. We try not to take advantage of that, take it for granted. We're very thankful for the support we have, thankful that we get to own and run it the way we want to. We want to keep doing this for a long time because it is a great job. And those Foot Clan titles, they're pretty nice.
Yep,
They're pretty nice as well. So don't forget, you can head over to footclangiveaway.com to grab an opportunity at a sweet powder blue Keenan Allen autographed jersey.
From my cold,
And
dead hands.
I was going to say, Mike straight up, he said he ordered, I'll be honest with you, he ordered 2 Keenan Allen jerseys. He ordered a regular Charger Keenan Allen jersey, so like the dark blue, navy. Then he ordered a powder blue. And I said today, let's give the better one to the Foot Clan.
Andy loves you, Foot Clan.
And the powder blue is the better one.
Yeah.
And then a signed DeAndre Hopkins mini helmet and a signed Stephon Diggs jersey. So, Mr. Viking out there, go get it. FootClanGiveaway.com is your chance to do that, completely free to enter. And thanks for listening, Mike. Great to have you back.
Thank you. It's good to be back. And you know what was great while I was in California?
Oh, did you play some draft?
Draft.com/ballers. Play some basketball. Getting that championship. Win that $100,000. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.